and you can allocate skill points mid-combat without much issue. Something to keep in mind with the skills in 2017 is that you're not going to max out every skill. That is something that was not common until very recently.
Yeah.
As I level up and gain more skill points, I'll have to think about each point of progression and what abilities I want to continue leveling up and which...
He says a couple years ago, nah, that changes in the game. I don't know. I would say that was pretty quick. I would say like 2019, you had all your skills basically, if you had grinded a shitload, like I did. But like, you got to understand, back in the day, guys, you just have to work really hard. It used to be like, you'd grind for like 12 hours to get from level 55 to level 56, right? And that was quick, by the way. You were getting power leveled with that, with all the EXP buffs running and everything. Then you would go do your awakening quests and stuff, and but you couldn't max out all your stuff. You had to completely unlevel all of your pre-awakening skills and level up your awakening skills. And even then, you might not have enough skill points. Skill points were a real problem back then. You actually had to grind your ass off. Skill EXP was like a big deal. Getting skill EXP was a massive deal. Nowadays, like, why would you spend extra money to get the outfit on your fairy for 10% skill EXP? Back then, we'd have sucked that dick off for 10% skill EXP, man. That shit was crazy.
Ones I want to leave behind.
Lynn Zero's just resubscribed for 23
Soldier's
months.
Grave. God, dude. The most unoptimized spot in the entire game is Soldier's Grave, and they've never fixed it.
After delving into the ancient stone chamber, I am sent off to fight a giant imp on the beach named Rednose.
Imps! Get rid of the imps! Please!
Honestly, even back in the day,
God,
he was
the
quite
voice
the
acting.
pushover. But to be fair,
So
he's
bad.
the tutorial boss.
I don't know why people say the main story of BDO is bad or was bad back in the day. Holy shit.
Talking to NPCs and killing monsters, and I finally get my first mount, George. Getting this donkey brought back more memories than I originally thought it would. I remember back in the first week of the game's release, these things were all over the place around Velia and
Yes,
Heidel.
sir.
People would ride them from one place to another and use them as pack mules during the early levels before getting passed by a random
I just ran by these people. I was like, why would I ride? This is slower than my run.
guy running on foot, at which point they left their trusty donkey behind for good.
There it is.
Due to NPCs not
All right,
showing up
straight line.
consistently, I decided to quit the main quest here and start my own path. I killed more imps at the Heidel Quarry, slaughtered these guys at the Moretti Plantation, who honestly for the last 9 years I thought were just sentient scarecrows. Turns out they aren't. And then I went up to the castle
I thought they were too, bro. I had no idea.
ruins to fight humans. Castle Ruins was the first group grind spot that I experienced in BDO.
Oh my
During
God, it
week
was
1
me
of the
too.
game, there were multiple groups of 5 scattered
Actually,
around
no,
this
it was Kron Castle.
place, grinding XP together. I've met a couple people when questing in Alejandro Farm, and grouped up with them to grind here. Unfortunately, on my solo server, this place feels a lot less lively. The first 50 levels of this experience actually went really fast. It was only a couple of days, and before I knew it, I was grinding out my last 2 levels at the Catfishmen of Lake Kaya.
Oh God, bro. Level 49 Lake Kaya grind. AIDS. Absolutely terrible.
Not a great endgame spot for loot back in
I
the
loved
day.
it.
Catfishmen were great XP. The quest to reach level 50 was available back in 2017 as well, but in a different fashion. In this version of the game, you have to fight an elite catfishman.
I would do manchas right up the hill because the catfishman did too much damage to me.
This fight may have been intended for
Or people would camp it. So what people would do back in the day, guys, when open world PvP was like super a thing, is they would lay in the bushes like the Viet Cong, and they would wait. And the moment they saw someone level up, they'd be like, "Congratulations on hitting level 50. Welcome to the Thunderdome." And then they would all stand up and they would brutally murder that person repeatedly until they quit the game. And like that is that is how it was back then. So like I did manchas like right up the hill because the Viet Cong didn't invade manchas, bro.
groups. Either that or I was very undergeared because this guy really hurt.
Yep.
It was hard enough to clear the island to even fight the boss, and once he's active, it's still no easy task to
Heal
defeat him.
yourself.
Fortunately, I was able to purchase a few potions from a nearby vendor and take him out without becoming meat for his stew. With these first 50 levels out of the way, now the real grind can begin.
I feel like you miss a big part of the BDO Classic experience, though, when you do it by yourself. That's my problem with this and why I wouldn't want to do something like this. Is that, like, there's just no chance for you to, like, really experience what made BDO back then, which was, like, the experience of going to a grind zone, seeing a white dot on that grind zone. You didn't ask them how much time they had. You didn't ask them, you didn't ask for a DFS. It was flag and drag. It was kill or be killed. You would show up and you were fighting over grind zones, not because you hated that person, but because you needed the resources that grind zone was going to give you. There were so few servers, and the cooldown swap on the servers was so long that it was like a 15-minute cooldown swap, and there were only 15 or 20 servers. You had to try to lock down a grind zone, right? And so what happens is you would have the gear to grind a spot like Sawson's, but all of the top end geared players were doing that, so you couldn't really grind Sawson's. So you'd go to the next lowest, right? And you couldn't lock down Helms either. So you were like, oh shit. So you'd go to Helms and you still couldn't lock down Helms. So you wouldn't grind Helms either. Even though those were the two best grind zones in the game, you would not be able to grind there because you couldn't lock down a spot at those locations. And this is and so you would go to Elric Shrine, right? Or you'd go to Mains, or you would go to Abandoned Iron Mine. And this is a very foreign concept to players. You understand that now new players join the game. They're like, what's the best grind zone I can go to? You tell them based on what their gear score is, what the best grind zone is. They go to that grind zone and they start grinding. Back in the day, it was what's the best grind zone in the game? You'd be like Sawson's or Pirates. And then they'd be like, okay. And then you'd go there and you'd get Eiffel Towered by the Mooses and the Mawas and the Witches and the Wizards and the Strikers and the Mystics that were all grinding there, and you get absolutely ass blasted. You'd be like, okay, well, what's the next highest grind zone in the game, right? And you didn't complain about not being able to grind there, and you didn't complain about this, that, and the other thing about how it was annoying that you could grind there. You just found a spot that you could grind, and you started getting silver there. You started grinding as much as you could at the spots where you could actually hold down the grind zone. So in a crazy way, the best grind zone in the game for a player was based on which grind zone you could actually maintain a spot at and kill people consistently, not based on your gear score. I mean, it was kind of based on your gear score, right? But there was a lot less. There was also a lot more skill expression back then too, right? Because you could there was a lot of room for outplay and stuff too. It was insane. It was a completely different mentality. And I think that that's a big aspect of BDO Classic, that if it wasn't a part of the game, I would not do something like this guy is doing, because it's not worth giving up all of your quality of life stuff if you're not going to get that experience. You know what I mean?
Medaya, BDO's first expansion. This brought the Great Grunil armor, notable for its 2 crystal slots and 7 AP set bonus.
Yeah, I was going to say the 7 AP set bonus from Grunil is what you were going for here.
Additionally, the expansion brought multiple amazing accessories that could be found in the different grind spots of the region. So at this point, I realized that a lot of people might not actually know how gear progression generally worked if they didn't play before the introduction of seasons, and I also haven't shown you what my gear looks like, so you have no idea what I'm running. So before the homogenization of gear, there were weapons, accessories, and armors to fulfill different build types. All of this gear still exists today, but there's little reason to use
God.
use it, so you may not actually know what the stats have. So armor
He's not wrong. That's right, chat. That's what's funny about it.
had 2 and 3 set effects. Agarian armor gives max HP and casting and attack.
Dude, I remember going through all of the different armor sets and trying to pick for myself which one I wanted. Then I remember okay, Grunil is what I want to do. And so I remember going and tanning rhinos for hours, and then setting up a workshop in I would set up a workshop in Medaya, a level 5 workshop. Then I would need blackstone powder to run the workshop. So I would have to go to Abandoned Iron Mine, and I would kill the elites at Abandoned Iron Mine, and I would swap server and kill the elites on that server too. And that's how and then I would grind up all the crystals that I got from that to get blackstone powder. And then that, because I was like, okay, well, if I'm running this, I should also run a functional close workshop. So I was like, okay, I need a lot of blackstone powder to run all this stuff.
Resubscribed for 3 months.
I just remember it required so many materials and stuff, and you had to set up a worker empire because you needed the materials from the worker empire in order to actually play the game. Setting up a worker empire was not an optional thing. It was basically required. You had to have a worker empire. You were griefing yourself. And so like I would get like the rough black crystals from that, and then that would help me make the Grunel armor, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh God, bro, this video, it takes you back.
Speed. Dobart gives increased DP. Hercules gives increased weight. Heave gives increased HP. Tartas gives
Hercules,
MP
baby.
and accuracy. Talus gives movement speed and jump.
Dude, if you were poor back then and you couldn't afford the processing outfit and stuff, and honestly, even if you could afford the processing outfit, I don't know how many of my homies know this, but you would do a Hercules armor, like set, to get the extra weight, because weight was really hard to come by back then. Like, even if you had max weight, you were always looking for more weight. And then you would have one of these, bro. If you were an absolute G, you had one of these right here. These Manos Coral belts would give you 100 weight at each level. See, this is 100, 200, 300, 400. This is insane. 500, and obviously nobody had planned at 600. But like you could get like a pry or a duo.
2221 just
Big deal.
resubscribed for 7 months.
Ooh, big
Hi,
deal,
Bold.
bro.
Glad to see you actually doing your job. JK, hope your mental is better.
Thanks, you're helping for sure.
Jump height. And Zareth gives stamina and monster AP. Accessories were simple, small stat items just like today. Bears gives AP. Elisha gives HP and MP. Jesus
Garbage.
gives evasion.
Garbage.
Talus gives accuracy. Talus gives DP.
Callus,
and finally,
dude.
Uria gives human damage.
Callus.
As for weapons, it would take a long time to go through the main and sub weapons, so just know that they're generally specific enemy type damage or accuracy for main weapons, and sub weapons either went fully into AP or had some AP and then DR, evasion, HP, accuracy, etc. With all that out of the
Crazy thing is there was actually build diversity back then, guys. Like literally, that's the craziest thing, is there was legitimately build diversity in the game.
way, here's what I'm
Like he just listed off all these options, all viable options for the most part.
working with going into Medaya.
Holy geared! Holy shit! This guy, oh god, bro. He doesn't even have Jarrett's
that's
accessories.
73 AP and 85 DP. I'm
Big
basically
spender.
an unkillable god. I
Yep.
have the 3 set of Agarian armor for the casting speed, and Taratas boots because they were just the first boots that I found.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running full Bears accessory that I bought from the blacksmith for that sweet, sweet AP. I have a steel dagger, which is the AP heavy offhand for Witch, and I have a beautiful Aswell staff as my main hand because it was the first weapon I found.
Always.
Aswell's only benefit is that it doesn't lose AP in the rain, so it's virtually worthless.
There's people in the audience. Lose AP in the rain? Yep. A feature of Black Desert back in the day. I believe they've removed it at this point. But when it was raining, you lost AP.
Later switched to Uria because I remembered running that in 2017 on
They still have to fix that. It never applied. I honestly don't know. I don't know. They said that they fixed it, or they said that they didn't fix it. They said they removed that feature from the game, I think, a long time ago.
all my characters, but it turns out that Uria is the human damage weapon. So it was powerful for defending my grind spot back in the day, but it is entirely useless on my solo server. Since I don't have to defend my grind spots, I should be running an Elsh staff for the monster damage and high accuracy, but it's too late.
I think I still... There it is. There it is.
Hello Blue, just a question. Could I sell my BDO account somewhere online?
No. No, don't do that. Are you actually, you know that like bro, are you literally that Polly is right there. The community management team is in my chat. Hey Blue, hey, why don't you give us your family name while you're at it, so that we know which account to ban. Are you bro?
Kyle just resubscribed.
Holy shit, you are actually the largest, and I don't say this lightly because most of chat is. You are definitely the largest here. That was without a doubt one of the dumbest questions I have fielded in months. And it's not because I haven't streamed a lot in the last 2 months, right? That was a wild question. That was an absolutely wild question. Like, hey, Blue, can I break TOS? Nope. You will get banned permanently. 100%. It is illegal. Don't do that. You idiot. Anyway, the reason I have this Aswell Kriegmeister is because it was the first weapon that I ever got off the marketplace for my DK. It was like a massive upgrade for my like plus like 12 weapon that I had back in the day. And I found it was just sitting on the market and I used it. Oh my God, I used this for like the first month I played the game. I had an Aswell, duo Aswell Kriegmeister. Absolutely goated. Loved it. Kept it forever. Sentimental item still on the account. Bada bing, bada boom, baby.
I'll be swapping from Uria.
Bro, the captcha was insane back then on the market. No, being able to try to get stuff on the market was insane back then.
To Laverto at some point anyway. For the uninitiated, Laverto is the best in slot weapon before Kazarka that dropped from field bosses.
Dude, I'm sorry I paused it. I'm sorry I paused it again. Guys, there was like this cult of people. We used to call them the cult of Laverto. And because we could not see stats on weapons back then. You'll notice that it only says AP 18 to 22. That's all you could see. It was the same thing for Zarka, same thing for Dandelion, same thing for your Dim Tree, Red Nose, whatever. You could see the stuff down here, some of the stuff down here. But like accuracy, hidden evasion, hidden DR, there's a reason it's called hidden. It's because we never used to be able to see it back then. And there was this cult of people that even after Zarka came out, they said Laverto is better. They said it was better in PvE, it's better in PvP. These people were like absolutely obsessed with Laverto weapons. Then all the stats came out and they all shut the fuck up.
Back in the day. It is a blue quality weapon that gives +3 crit, features 2 crystal slots, and has high AP and accuracy compared to the green weapons. Starting out in Medaya, I decided that it would be too easy to just progress into Valencia as soon as I get my awakening weapon, so I created a rule that I can't move into Valencia until I have obtained all the accessories that I had listed as goals from Calpheon, Medaya, and Margoria.
Oh God,
This
bro,
will ensure that I don't skip important gear milestones by just farming the yellow.
Well, yeah, he can't even get, bro. He gotta all the way go to Pirates. How are you gonna get to Pirates, brother? You don't have a fishing out, like you don't have a fishing boat or nothing. What are you gonna go gather pine sap? Yeah, that's what it takes to make a fishing boat. I know, because I used to make them. Okay, the knowledge bank is crazy. The knowledge bank is insane.
Low-grade accessories from Valencia immediately. With this restriction in mind, this means that I'll have to try a few grind spots while I level from 50 to 56. I decided I should start with rogues just north of Tariff because they are low
Rogues are too hard, bro. You don't have the gear to do rogues.
level and easy to kill. I considered starting at Helms, but I recall the stone golems around there hit like a truck.
Dude, so real. So real. You would go to a stone golem because you had to kill them for your awakening quest line. Holy shit. You had to kill it for your awakening quest line, and guys, the awakening quest line back in the day, holy, you would get, like everything else, totally doable, you have a friend, whatever. You get to the golems, and it was like, like trying to get it, he was trying to perforate your asshole. Like, it was literally insane.
I will be going there later for the Scarlet Necklace and Ancient Guardian Seal though, so don't you worry. At this point I'm getting just over a level an hour.
Holy shit. Are you telling me that a private server has damage numbers, but we can't get this on the main server? Not even as a toggle? Like having the option to turn it on?
An hour. The speedy levels of 1 to 50 are done, and now the grind begins.
He's got
Not to fret
numbers!
though, because I'm starting to roll in the skill points and really starting to fill out my skills. On my second hour of grinding rogues, I
There was
actually
technically
managed
a
to
config option that allowed it way back in the day, but PA removed it.
You know why they removed it? It's because they had spaghetti. Guaranteed, this isn't even cap. They didn't want us to know what the damage numbers were. They still don't want you to know what the damage numbers are. And when they said the reason was, they said, we want to add an element of mystery to the game. The real reason, no cap, is that if you could see damage numbers, you would be able to see how bugged your class was. And they would get an ocean of support tickets. A literal ocean of support tickets about, hey, the damage on this Kunoichi skill is not working properly here. Isn't it on G-Lab? Yeah, it's on Global Labs. Okay. Polly does make a good point. It is on Global Labs. And so many of us play on the Global Labs server every week, right, guys? We all play on the Global Lab server every week. And we all know that the damage on the Global Lab 100% reflects the actual damage that it is on normal servers. Anyone that's ever tried Global Labs damage, y'all know this, right? Like, we all know the damage on G Labs, there's nothing wrong with it. You whatever the damage is on G Labs, that's what it's going to be on the main servers, for sure. No, Polly. Yes, we have damage numbers on Global Labs. And do you know how useful those damage numbers are? They're not. Because for whatever reason, it is completely... The damage on G Labs is completely... So the damage numbers don't mean anything. If the damage numbers were on the live servers, players would be able to tell, hey, like really quickly, and this is a crazy thing, and I'm going to use Witch as an example, but there's an example like this for every class in the game. For 8 years, well, actually not 8 years. I would say it was like 5 years when they changed absolute skills in the game. Witch's 4th level of their skill in pre-awakening actually was doing more damage than the absolute skill, because the PvP damage reduction, they forgot to add PvP damage reduction. So you guys know how there's level 1 on a skill, level 2 on a skill, level 3 on a skill, level 4 on a skill, and then there's the absolute skill, right? Pluribus added like damage reduction, PvP damage reduction to the absolute skill, but they forgot to add damage reduction to the level 4 skill. And so you would just unskill your absolute skill and just use the level 4 skill, and it would do more damage in PvP. Okay. And it's shit like that they were really hoping that the player base would not be able to figure out on our own. Sadly for them, we are complete degenerates. And that's just an example of which. Okay, every class had an example like that.
Get the Schultz belt. That's one accessory marked off the list and a very welcome gear upgrade. With that out of the way, I would be smart to move on to the next grind.
Dude, imagine grinding in a grind zone and you just get a gear upgrade. Look at this, dude.
Very welcome gear upgrade. With that,
boom! Yo! Look at that! Equip it! We're huge!
Would be smart to move on to the next grind spot, but I'm still scared of the helms, so I decided to grind 1 more hour at rogues. Nothing of interest really drops. I get a few books and hold on to some daggers for later enhancing. Now with a few more upgrades out of the way and a whole 3 extra levels under my belt, here's my gear now, by the way, I finally feel comfortable going.
Wait, he's wearing an outfit
to helms. And
wait, how did he get an outfit?
Oh boy, I should have been here first.
Yep.
The golems are scary, but the normal mobs of helms fall over so much faster than rogues.
Oh, these are the different golems. He's talking about these golems. These golems do hit hard, but they're doable. I'm talking about, when I was talking the story before, those awakening golems, they don't f around, bro. They don't f around. Those awakening golems, I'm sure that somebody on YouTube is going to put a comment about it. That shit's crazy.
Back during my first excursion into Medaya, Helms was my first grind spot. I remember going there with all of my level 50s and having maybe 70 AP, but for whatever reason now with thousands more hours of experience, I was more scared of this place now than I was back then. I should have just listened to my old self though. I started out ignoring the stone golems and just killing the helms.
Yep, that's
but
how you do
pretty soon I realized that while they do take a long time to kill, they have pretty good drop rates for black
forbidden books. Yep.
stones, books, and even the scarlet necklaces.
Oh yeah, the necklaces. I used to do lower helms. All my homies remember doing lower helms, like the under helms. That shit was actually good. I remember watching Aeon Janus do that shit for hours, hundreds of hours.
I tell you, I spent a lot of time at helms. I don't remember the specific hours because I did a lot of grinding off stream, but I was having a blast.
That was in like 2018.
Getting Bruno gear, 30 plus blackstones, and 1 to 4 scarlet necklaces an hour made this place feel great.
Scarlet necklaces.
Up until this point,
Holy
I had
shit.
still been trying to figure out how in the world I was going to get hards and sharps for enhancing after plus 15. The only real sources are the Night Vendor and Gathering.
Subscribed
Yeah, I was
for
gonna say,
25 months. What up, homie?
Login rewards. And honestly, the best way to get hards and sharps back in the day was every single weekend, they would run a double hard and sharp drop rate gathering event. Every weekend, it was known that hard and sharp drop rates were twice as much on the weekend. We never do that anymore because Polly hates us. It was quite literally GM Polly. He just decided, no more of that. Put the fun detected, shut it down.
This gathering doesn't work. That means I have to hope for the slim chance of rolling the item at the Night Vendor.
What up, Rael? How you doing, buddy?
This was when I remembered that people used to farm the stone golems at Medaya for them. But how? They don't
Nah, Adrian, if you're on more, we play more.
drop from them, and you can't process their trade items. Well, as I completely forgot, scarlet necklaces as well as many of Medaya's other...
You can melt them for sharps. Holy shit, he's a gamer. You can melt ancient guardian seals for 1 to 2 sharps.
Accessories can be melted for 1 hard.
I think it's
per
actually 2
necklace.
sharps.
Now I finally have
Scarlet's
a somewhat
hards, yeah.
reliable source of hards, and once I find the accessory that
No,
melts for
dude.
a sharp, I will be completely set.
And you're going to try to get a Tet armor. A Tet armor. With 1 hard at a time from Scarlet necklaces. This guy's crazy. This guy is insane. It's just, no. There's just no way.
Level 55 in what felt like a few minutes. In reality, it was probably closer to 4 hours to go from 53 to 55. I'd do an hour and then run to idle and tap my gear, and then run back to grind again. But 55 is when things really started to slow down. I considered moving to the Elric.
Look at those damage numbers!
Rings, but when I saw the time to kill for them, I went straight back to the Helms.
No, you got a Helms.
1 more hour of grinding complete, and only 10% of a level gained. Yeah, I knew 55 to 56 would be a grind, but I was not prepared for this. 10 hours of grinding just to go from 55 to 56 at, remind you, 2 times experience rate. And I set my final goal to level 61. What have I done?
Yeah. No, this guy is totally 61? Level 61? Even at 2x experience with no events, no scrolls, nothing? Guys, like we used to literally like jack off to being level 61 or 62. I remember logging in and being like, I'd be like, yo, am I top on the growth charts? Because I was level 61. And I would be like 15th in growth on that server. Like that's how hard level 61 was.
Well, I'm a BDO player, so what do I do when I see a large grind ahead of me? I contemplate the life choices that got me here, then pop all my XP buffs and get to grinding. With the
Holy true, brother.
daily XP buff
So
and an
true.
XP scroll, I could get anywhere from 20 to 30% of a level depending on how focused I was. At this point, I started once again ignoring the stone golems because I'm here for the experience, not the loot. Honestly, the grind from 55 to 56 was the most grueling grind I've done in a while.
It's hard because you don't have your awakening skills, dude.
It's not that it was
so
necessarily
hard.
a long grind. I know some of you retail
skills
players grind
suck,
for 5+
man.
hours a day and beg for more. It was that I knew what was coming up once I hit 56. It was that impatient sensation building inside me, knowing that I would unlock Awakening as soon as I crested that milestone. Do you remember that feeling when you were a kid and just couldn't wait for Christmas morning, and it felt like time wasn't moving because you were just so excited? That's exactly how I felt for every single minute that I grinded until I hit 56.
That is the most accurate representation of what it felt like to hit level 56 back in the day in BDO that I have probably ever heard. 100% bang on accurate. And I remember I kind of cheated my way out at the end. I went to Sawson's and I begged an awakening wizard at Sawson's. I still remember his name. His name was Toilet Water. Please, I'll be your pack mule. I have tier 3 pets. Please just let me leech. He said okay. Thank God.
And then it happened. The big 5-6. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for the players who never got to experience this milestone. It feels so good after putting in multiple hours of grinding to get a huge power spike and an entire additional set of abilities on top of your current ones. Honestly, Pearl Abyss did an amazing job with Awakening. I can't really think of a class that didn't go from a 10 out of 10 to an 11 out of 10 with the addition of Awakening. I mean, aside from maybe Ranger, in my opinion. I bet if you asked
Rangers.
100 people what the Ranger class would do, almost none of them would say stab stuff with a sword.
People got so upset. People were so upset with Ranger because like every other class, it literally just, it accented what the class's identity already was. It just did that thing better, right? Like, yo, what's Wizard and Witch gonna do? Oh, you're gonna cast a bunch of spells. You're gonna have a pet that's gonna help you cast spells too. It's gonna be sick. And you're gonna be focused on certain elements. Oh, cool! Well, we're glad you like it. What does Maywa and Musa do? Oh, really cool. One is fire, one is ice. It's still gonna be like melee stuff, but you're gonna be casting these fire and ice skills all the time, flipping around. You're gonna have tons of mobility that you already loved anyway, so that you're gonna love that too. Oh, this is amazing. This is great. What about Ranger? How much Ranger are we about to get on Ranger? Well, you're gonna be a melee assassin now. Well, I played Ranger because I wanted to to be ranged. I wanted to use the bow. Yeah, well, we thought it would be better if you use the swords, the little, honestly, not even really swords, just daggers, just daggers, you know. Man, this shit, I'm playing witch. That was Rangers were pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie. The moment that Note leveled up to 56 on the Ranger, he was like, "Yo, this shit sucks," and he went back and played Striker because they f***ed up. They f***ed up Ranger Awakening so bad.
They took the most popular archetype in gaming, guy with a bow, and said, "You're a melee class now.
No. We want girl with a bow. Welcome to BDO.
Have fun."
I mean this in the most sincere way possible. Most of the classes that use bows in Black Desert are female. And that includes our men.
Anyway, enough about that. After I hit level 56, I
Baldy,
immediately
trivia
jumped on my horse
question.
and ran to the
When did
Goblin
the
Out.
swap from PvP being enabled go from 45 to 50?
I think it was always 50 if I remember correctly.
Side of Velia to start my Awakening quest.
At least when I played the game, it was
Unfortunately,
always
seems like
50.
this quest line was bugged. What it is supposed to do is send
It
me
wasn't?
out to multiple
I don't remember it being 45.
locations to kill monsters, and then return to get my Awakening. I'm sure most of you know this quest line, it's still in the game. But instead, it skipped this and gave me my Awakening weapon immediately.
Oh
Certainly
my
somewhat
god. He
anticlimactic,
didn't have to do the Awakening quest.
but when you're on an ancient server that has no right to exist in the first place, you can't really complain.
No, you can't.
And with that major milestone complete, this is where I ended up. Level 56 with 100.
And to pearl, a base, then black. Hi, welcome to.
Alright, Black Desert Online has finally dropped natively on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS, and I've been playing this game in partnership with the folks of Black Desert Online to try out this new updated version, this next gen release. Despite this being a partnership video, I'm gonna give you guys, as always, my honest opinion. This BDO version is the best to play, and it runs cross gameplay between PlayStation and Xbox, which is great. But is it really the ultimate next gen MMO experience like the developers state it to be? Well, not quite. So let's talk about it. Yes, this next generation version runs smoother, slightly better frame rate, better loading times, but the visuals, well, I guess they improved, but to me they kind of look the same. As being promoted as a next gen game, I have seen better visuals for a next gen game title for sure. Anyway, whether you're a returning player or just curious, this is the best version of Black Desert Online to play without any doubt. Character creation is still great. You can lose hours creating a character if you check out all the details. Combat is another highlight. It's fast, it's flashy, no tab targeting, tons of unique classes to try out, and I think combat is where BDO really stands out in my opinion. But here's the thing, actually aiming your abilities at a moving enemy feels kinda rough. Combat felt good, but I found myself swinging just off target way more than I expected, especially in tight fights. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but it's skill based, and yes, I agree, but sometimes controls felt just like pure chaos, and if you're new or just picking it up to relax, expect a big learning curve. Then there's also the messy user interface. The UI is a lot. There is so much on screen, which sure, you can delete inside the options menu, but there's a lot that players will need on screen to continue gaming. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on. Quests, notification, tips, menus, it's a lot. Even something basic like tracking a quest feels like an escape room puzzle. This game throws a lot at you. It's too fast with very little explanation. So yeah, again, big learning curve here. But Black Desert Online does offer good stuff as well. There's major storyline to discover, tons of main quests to complete, and so much side stuff to do, like fishing, cooking, trading, farming, training horses, which are super cool by the way. This game has epic mounts. So yeah, there's quite a lot to do, and I don't think you'll get bored easily with Black Desert Online. Maybe just lost in a massive world or, you know, the menu. I don't think you can just casually swing this game. If you want to actually progress, you gotta learn the systems, or at least understand what's even happening. You're gonna need time, a lot of it. And sure, a lot of games require a learning curve, but this one feels big. But yeah, again, it's the best version of Black Desert Online so far, but it's also the same game underneath. It's beautiful, but it's chaotic, and it's not for everyone. Let me know in the comments, are you jumping into BDO on next gen, or are you gonna skip this learning curving game? Drop a like if
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about something special, the difference between Black Desert on PC versus playing it on console. So I think now is a good time to talk about this because recently they released the newer gen version. So basically if you're playing on the older Xbox or PS4, they have a PS5 version and then whatever the latest Xbox version is. And I've been taking notes over the past month or so during my playthrough on console as well, and hopefully with the new gen, basically the idea is with better technology, they're gonna narrow the gap between PC and console. So hopefully in the near future, you guys on console get the same updates PC does, but just not like 6 months behind or something. But anyway, with that said, my experience so far on console is graphically, it looks a little bit better, but it sort of looks the same. I definitely notice it's a little bit smoother. So like if you're playing on a solid 60 FPS before, I think it goes up to like 120 or something. Assuming you have a PS5 or a Pro, whatever, the latest gen console. But aside from that, what is different in terms of gameplay, and if you're following a guide or anything, you know, like one of those gear progression or important quests to do, I have videos of those as well. You can watch my playthrough on console as well. In under 24 hours of game time, I made it to like 270 AP, whatever that's worth these days. So anyway, I got some notes. Yeah, so first of all, on PC, you know how we have the Magnus, which is the well you can transport from point A to B, right? On console, you don't have the Magnus, you have a quest, but like you don't do the whole Magnus quest line. So like, you know, this thingy, let me just show you. The Magnus quest, this whole 117 quest line chain. We have it on PC, but on console, it just gives you it, like whatever the thing is. So at the end of it, there's going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but you get a free pen boss gear box. So like you get to pick one non-fallen god, you know, armor piece. And so on console, it's like a 2-minute quest or something, and then it just gives you the pen boss gear. So I think that's nice. You don't have to actually work for it. But at the same time, it was actually a pretty fun quest line to do. I wouldn't really want to do it multiple times, but doing it once was like a breath of fresh air. So hopefully that's something that with better technology or something on console, they'll add, and then maybe some bonus rewards just for, you know, not having it for all this time. The next thing that I noted was currently you guys don't have Ulakita. By the way, these notes are not in any particularly progression order. I just kind of took notes of things as I found out about it. So as we all know, Ulakita down here, the region that is mostly a grind spot zone. It's not really anything. I mean, there are quests down here, but there's not really anything important down here. So most of the high-end grind spots are over here. And not having this on console makes going for Deboreka accessories harder. But with Karazad these days, like you can kind of bypass a little bit of that. But either way, it's harder to fail stack because Origin of Dark Hungers, you know, there's less sources of them. You would have to grind, like Land of the Morning Light for, you know, the Origins or the crystals to get your Karazad upgrades and everything. So hopefully, you know, console gets this soon TM kind of thing, and it makes it a little bit harder. Next thing I have is everyone on console gets a free Bell's Heart. That's actually really nice. So as we all know, the world boss is... Wait, where is my note? Oh god, I don't know what number it was. Anyway, so this, you know, the ocean boss Bell. Yeah, apparently console just straight up doesn't have this. And I can see why, because it kind of does lag on PC as well. And remember on day one when it came out, it was like crashing the entire server and everything. Basically, it's an ocean boss, and it's above Akila's Eye, and yeah, I can assume on console that would just be even worse, but hopefully with the newer gen and everything, it's fine. So on console, you just get a free Bell's Heart. It's this item, and you just get like level 60 or something, or 56, one of those numbers, and they just kind of give it to you in your Y tab or whatever your rewards are. So that's cool. Everyone else on PC, we have to either get lucky or put an order for max price on it and then hope to get it. So that's one bonus. All right, so the next thing that console does not have is no Sovereign. which is the endgame weapons, the sovereign weapons. I believe that's probably coming soon, and at least I feel like they might have it or already do, but these notes are a little bit old. But no sovereign, and if you do, just know that I've talked about this in gear progression videos in the past, where you know how if you've ever seen people and you're like, should I go sovereign or should I get triple pen black stars first? The answer is always make sure your weapons are all triple pen black stars before going for sovereign. The reason why is sovereign is a endgame weapon and it's very expensive to upgrade. And so you see how, like right here, you know how we all have the Agris things, basically the pity system of like fail enough times and you'll get it eventually. This is very expensive, and it's like 165 going for Nav, which is, you know, I would say Oct is more like the soft cap. Anything past it is you play the game a lot. So anyway, yeah, go for triple pen black stars first before going for sovereign. Whether you have it or not, that's the progression path anyway. And sovereign offhand is coming out soon, TM, at least here on PC, which, you know, is weird because you know how we had to hide old ball a few days ago, right? Console got the same rewards we did. That's great and all, but you're still behind on it. So like the hammers that we got, you would be using it on Karazad accessories, but it was an option for weapons. So it's like, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. I feel like Sovereign's in the game for console already, but I have no idea. Yeah, so the next thing I noted is Debarekas are still very high and very important. So Debarekas are the things before Karazad that you go to, or the...
Hey guys, LF here. First off, I'd like to give credit to my buddy Scrafoon for this knowledge. This is the chillest grind in BDO, where you only use your hotkeys and still earn more than 1 bill an hour consistently, if not more when you get lucky with drops. First of all, the spot in question is going to be Hong Lim base. There's a myriad of reasons as to why we do it here. A lot of people probably already understand why, but if you're a returning player or if you're a new player, you're probably not familiar with it yet. So let me go through the details. So Hong Lim base is essentially in Land of the Morning Lights. If you are new and you are just doing your season, feel free to check out my season beginner guide. It's going to help you save several hours of grief, so you don't start off on the wrong foot. If you're a new player or a returning player and you haven't done your Magnus quest yet, make sure that you do that quest so you can easily get to this area from the main continent, which is all the way down here, right? So in order to introduce to you the spot first, it's going to be right around here. You can see Dry Branch Village there and start heading over to where I am. You can actually just, like, you see this Hyosun here? You can just path over to here and it should get you into the safe area to the side. And parts of the Hong Lim base is essentially like around this area here, okay? So Hong Lim base, why is it so good? Why does it give you 1 bill per hour in silver, if not more? So one of the main things is trash loot. It's 20.5k each. You get a reliable amount of these, but that's not even the best thing. You can get your black stones here, which do sell on the market. These are the ones that probably are the ones only that don't like really sell, but you should save these anyway because this will help you with your stacks once you get into your later upgrades. You can thank me later on that, okay? The other things too are these right here. While these might not be the best things for you to use, once you do get these things, they will sell on the market. They are usually on max pre-order on the market because they give you the Essence of Dawns, which is essentially what you use in order to upgrade your Karazad accessories. So people will need this, you will need this. You can actually choose to keep these if you want to use them for yourself, if you're upgrading your Karazad. But if you're not quite there yet, you can choose to sell them in the market. They will always sell. The other thing too is your Kafras. So not only do you get your Ancient Spirit Dust, which you can use to craft your Kafras, and the ingredients for it is the Ancient Spirit Dust through simple alchemy and also Blackstone, which you already get. You essentially just have a constant source of Kafras. Not only that, but they also drop the Kafras stones themselves. So if you're not familiar with these, let's take a look at the marketplace right now. So let's take a look at Kafras stones right now. Kafras stones right now, 0 in stock. Max PO, 3 mil each. And you get a lot of these grinding here. that means that you will always have max profit, and once you get these Kafras, they will always sell, right? And then let's go for the one all AP crystals that you get here, right? If you look at it, there's like some in stock right now, but these things will be bought out immediately. You can just put it up here. You can see it's always listed at like max price. There's orders here at 99 mil, but people don't even sell it there because they know for a fact that people will need this. People will always need these, and they will always just buy it, right? If you want to maybe like have it sell faster, if you would like, you could search up Essence of Dawn. You could actually you could actually heat these and turn them into Essence of Dawns. And if you look at Essence of Dawns right now, right, these are usually at max price as well. Like, people know that even though there are orders down here, they don't sell it that. You know why? Because people will always need this, and that's why it sticks up there to 100 mil. And that's why it's not going down in price, because people will always buy it. People will always need it. So that's like really good sources of income for you, and you can always have that profit almost immediately. So, and you might be curious as to what the motivation for this video is. I recently made a video about me hard grinding to qualify for the BDO Masters tournament that requires you to be top 5% gear score. And of course, for a returning player like me, that requires a lot of grinding. And maybe I won't even make it if I just only grind like 5, 6, 7 hours a day, right? So I'm usually grinding like 10 to 24 hour sessions even. So I've been looking for ways to ease the grind and make it easier on my fingers and wrists, even though I'm grinding on my Wukong right now to kind of like practice the muscle memory already. But if I need a break, if I don't want to grind like off stream a little bit, if I just kind of want to chill. I just want to chill like a little bit, right? Like, this is what I do essentially. That's why I have it tagged. So this is the gear that I have now, after about 2.5 weeks of just like really hard grinding. But I'm going to post right now the gear that I had before, and it's a lot easier to achieve than you would think as a new player, just because you get a huge like influx of silver, free silver essentially. And there's a lot of ways to go around it. Even if you do have less gear, even if you want to start here with lesser gear, there are ways to go around it. So all right, let's get started. So first of all, the best class that I can recommend to you here is Hashashin, and that is going to be using the Succession skill set that it has instead of Awakening. So as for the skills, really simple. You just need Descent, Prime Descent. You just need Prime Chosen Blade. You just need Prime Quicksand. You need Prime All's Breath. And of course, you can add the Prophecy Blade in there as well from one of your skill enhancements. And that's it. You can see, like, I don't have these leveled yet. As for skill add-ons, you can see these are the only ones that you can put add-ons into that you do use. So you have your Descent. I have extra AP against monsters and extra DP, especially if you're not confident about your survivability yet. You have your Chosen Blade, attack speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then you have your Quicksand, crit rate, and all DP minus 20 for the mobs. This is especially helpful for the mini bosses that do spawn. So, what is Honglim base? You can see right off the bat that the recommended AP for this total stat, by the way, is 730 and 390 DP. It caps out at 850, so even if you see that I have a lot of AP right now for this area, you know, it caps out at 850, right? So usually when you press I, you'll have this open, and usually this is the default right here, gear score 328, 412 on my end. But what you need to do is you need to click on total stats, you need to click on demi-human, and then you'll see up here or down here how much you have exactly, and you can kind of like cater to that a little bit more. You don't actually need to reach the recommended DP, because there are like off the bat, just because there are ways to circumvent it, as I said, and I'm about to show you the ways that